You're listening to the Amazing Facts Daily Devotional. Today's topic, Thomas, Cancer Saved My Life, Part 2. Thomas ended up in the hospital. His life was broken, and while lying in bed, his thoughts turned to God. He remembered that one of the churches he had investigated 8 years before. At that time, he was still doing drugs and didn't take any religion very seriously. Now he called for the pastor of a local Sabbath-keeping church. The pastor came and prayed with Thomas. He assured him that the church would be praying as well. The funny part about cancer, he relates, is that this death sentence became the beginning of life for me. During this time, when all sorts of blood tests were being done and my life hung in the balance, Thomas remembers, I began thinking once more about God. It was on my deathbed that I realized how much I needed Jesus. When things turned for the worse, Thomas was anointed. It was a turning point in my life, Thomas explains, when I called up Pastor Danny and introduced myself. I told him on the phone that I wanted to be baptized, whether I lived or died. Later, when I was out of the hospital, he actually drove to where I worked. I went out and sat in his car where he prayed for me and then gave me some Amazing Facts Bible study guides. I took the lessons home and studied them like I had never studied anything before in my life. I prayed equally as hard. Thomas was so committed to complete the lessons that he went through 3 of them every day and within a week completed them all. About this time, he went to the doctor for a checkup. He was bewildered when the doctor smiled and left the room. 3 times the doctor came into the room to perform a specific test, and 3 times he left smiling. Then he finally came back and threw some papers on the table in front of Thomas and said, "I don't understand, but your readings are all normal. By God's grace, you made it through." Thomas was baptized and is now a living testimony of God's power. As he looks back, he shares, "Cancer saved my life. If this disease had not stopped me dead in my tracks, I would have continued with my life of alcohol and drugs. Like many of my friends, I would probably be dead right now." When was the last time you were stopped dead in your tracks? Was God trying to get your attention? Our key Bible text today comes from Matthew chapter 8 and verse 3. "And Jesus put forth his hand and touched him, saying, I will, be thou clean. And immediately his leprosy was cleansed." Thank you for listening to the Amazing Facts Daily Devotional.